you think of phono preamplifiers, the first thing that comes to your mind is not DSP and analog to digital conversion. Most of you analog folks at that point would say, blasphemy! This is ridiculous. Well, I'm going to talk about a product today that maybe not be so ridiculous, and I found it very interesting, intriguing, and very versatile. Of course, we're talking about the Puffin by Parks Audio. If you guys have not checked this out, this is basically a phono preamplifier that is ran by digital sound processing. So basically you run your analog signal in from your turntable into this product, and then it has a whole array and suite of digital sound processing. It takes that analog signal, converts it to digital, runs it all through the processing, then it runs it through a digital to analog converter, basically sending it out of the RCAs then to your preamplifier. So we've got this guy in for review. We've spent a few weeks with it. Huge shout out to Gig Harbor Audio for loaning this to us, and the folks over at Parks Audio for creating it. Let's take a look at this thing and we'll get into it. All right, so that was kind of a quick overview. You saw some of the features there. One of the things that I really like about this, as they kind of tell you on your website, we'll just kind of walk through them and I'll tell you my thoughts. But they talk about how it gently attenuates your pops and clicks. I think that effect is not overdone. I was really worried that it was going to be like you'd hear this like sound processing like happening, and it doesn't. It just kind of fades them out just a smidge, and I don't know the technology on how it does it. I don't claim to, but I put some of kind of my older crappy albums on just to kind of see how this thing, performed in that capacity, and it was very minimal, barely noticeable, I would say. I could still some of the major pops and clicks and stuff coming through on some of those albums that were really bad. You could still hear it. Some of the nicer, more reference albums that I have, where it's kind of just a fine little granular sound, you could tell that was kind of almost gone. So they're definitely doing something there, but it's not overdone. Adjusting your cartridges azimuth, like this thing has so many features built into it. It is an absolute powerhouse. Like, if you really can just accept this concept of this digital sound processing in your analog space, and I know it's tough for guys, but if you look back at, like, I've got a bunch of like CBS half speed pressings, like old Master Sound stuff from the 70s and late 70s, and they brag about prior to making those reference pressings, running the analog tapes through analog to digital converters and doing this whole processing and coming through. And probably most of the vinyl you listen to nowadays is comes from a digital source or has been digitally processed. So if you can kind of step outside of that box a little bit, and really just kind of put yourself in a, does this sound good or doesn't it? And I'm telling you, this thing sounds fantastic. They've got a bunch of different settings: tilt, air, treble, bass boost. You've got all these different settings. I'll kind of walk you through the menu so you can see those as we get into this thing. But you can literally scroll through. You can bump up the treble a little bit. You can do fine treble, so you can do treble in kind of big jumps. You could do treble in little teeny jumps. You can do your air, which kind of puts this vibrancy and sparkle kind of into the sound stage. Bass kind of all the same way. And so you've got kind of your heavy-handed knob and your fine-tuning knob. You can do that with your balance as well. You can, if you have a cartridge that just feels like, man, you just can't get it quite right, and you're just a little bit heavier in that right side, a little bit heavier in that left side, you can make some left to right adjustments as well as some fine tuning and really get that sound stage just locked in and really nice. So it's got a lot of controls there. They talked about over 500 adjustable phono settings, so you can get into all your gains and your loadings. You saw, kind of some of the adjustments there. Some of the really cool things is that you can use this for a CD, moving magnet, moving coil. You're not stuck to just one, right? And then all of the adjustments within those cartridges are really neat. Mono and stereo mode. It's got some really cool DSP effects. You can add like a tube effect to it. I run tube amplifiers, so I didn't really mess with it with the tube amplifiers. But when I was running things like the NAD M33, the Atal SDA 200, some of the Fortes, running some of my other solid state preamps and amplifiers, some of the Orchard Audio stuff, this was really cool. You switch it to that 2H setting and it kind of gives it a little tubiness. And again, nothing is overdone. It's not overbearing. It's not like, oh my God. You can hardly pick up the sound processing here. Like it really does a good job at retaining that analog vibe. You don't plug this thing in and instantly think to yourself, oh man, that just went digital. That's got that digital glare to it. When Parks Audio, which I'm gonna have to go visit these guys. Apparently they're right here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm gonna reach out to these folks and see if we can't go tour their facility and meet up with them and see what they're doing. But however they designed this, they took a real intentional approach on ensuring that the analog quality, presentation, sound, performance was retained in this kind of digital space, and it's really cool. And then they have this tape setting. It kind of adds this old like tape vibe to it, and so they've got some fun stuff in there as well. The cool thing is you can set your settings. So if you're the kind of person who likes to swap cartridges or switch things out, maybe you got a couple different tables. Maybe you want to jump from a CD player or something, or whatever the case may be. You can save your settings within this thing and then recall those. So I like my cart set up for this. I'm gonna pull this cart off, put that cart in, boom. I'm just gonna upload that setting for that cartridge. I'm rocking and rolling. You don't have to go through and fine tune everything and change. And then just looking at the box, the knob feel is really cool. If you noticed in the video, it's got this really, really cool texture on the top of it. Super neat. Here's kind of your selector knob. So simple power knob on the front. So you just click this power knob here, and then your LED, your display lights up, and you kind of rotate through the menu. It scrolls up and down. I'll show you guys. And then you activate something, and then you can make the adjustments and then deactivate it and move down. It's got a nice little ground screw here. Feels substantial, feels good. I think it's an aluminum box. It feels like an aluminum box. Got the little rubber feet on it. Got the deal on the back there. The little barrel plug for the power, the wall wart, is very, very nice. This plug feels really good and substantial. There's no plastic here on the top of this thing at all. I'm not sure if maybe running a linear power supply or something may help with the sound quality. I don't know. I haven't gone that far yet. Gig Harbor Audio, I went down and listened to a bunch of stuff at Gig Harbor Audio, and they had this set up on some of their systems, and I was like, wow, that is cool. I mean, they had this on like some $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 turntables, and I thought, man, that is really interesting. And so we started messing with it down there, and Eric said, hey, if you want to take it home and do a review on it, go ahead. Local company, and so here we are. RCA plugs, they feel good, all metal stuff, they look really good. Nice little screws, they got nice little trimming around the, let's see if we can get it to focus in for you. Of course you saw it in the video, so I don't have to show you too much here, but look at that little texture on the front. How cool is that? And anyway, let's plug this thing in and take a look at it. It sounds really good. It functions really good. It's very versatile. You can take any genre of music. You can take any cartridge, any system, and you can really tune this thing. I was having fun. I was running some tube amplifiers, and I was running the Dynaudio Evoke 50, so I have kind of this like warm, vibey music sound. And so I went in here and I just bumped that air setting up just a little bit, gave it just a titch on the treble, and man, that thing just came to life, and it was absolutely fantastic. So very, very versatile. It's not an overbearing change to your system. It's very subtle. It's done very well. And I think if you can get your mind out of this, oh, that's just anarchy, that's blasphemy, you might have fun with this unit. So check it out. And take a look at it, consider it if you're looking for a very versatile phono preamplifier or something that you can use with some other units. Oh, I will say that they do have a modification so that you can add a digital output here. So you could literally run from your turntable into here with your RCAs. It would go analog to digital conversion, and then you can run out to a DAC. So if you like a flavor profile of your favorite DAC, so if you've got an Aries 2, or if you've got a PS Audio Direct Stream, or you've got the Shit Bifrost, or whatever your favorite DAC is, and you like that sound signature and how that synergy works with your system, you can literally use this unit and then run your turntable directly to your digital to audio analog converter, and then out to your system, giving that performance and that tonality of your DAC that you enjoy so much to your system. And then you could just set this thing kind of like all blanked out, right? So you don't kind of have to worry about it. So anyways, let's take a look at kind of the menu. I'll run you through how it looks, and then we'll shut her down and get moved on. Okay, you can see the top plate here, like we talked about, all your standard plugins. But if you rotate this knob, you can see that it starts to go through the different settings. So we've got our volume, our tilt, our bass, we've got our treble settings, treble, air. So this air, so when it's in the top, you click this button right here, and then you can rotate this and kind of that adjust the settings. So you can see you can adjust the frequency range. So you can adjust your high and low. So if you want this thing to kind of just go to the max, you can set your low where you want it to go. Mode is stereo. Let's see, I think, what was this one? Oh, whoops. Let's see, this was, oh yeah, this is your tubes. So this is kind of your little different settings. So you can have your tube setting, your tape setting. You can do both of them and then kind of have it off, and it'll just rotate through. So you can go through as many times as you want. So you see I had it off on that one. You can set your gain for your different things, and it's really short increments too. So you've got a lot of versatility here, but whatever works best for your system. You've got your loading here that you could mess with. There we go. So you just switch it. And it'll just switch, depending on what you want to do. Boom, switches. Bada bang. Your balance, your fine balance. So like I said, you can balance left and right, and then just do fine balance if you want. You can adjust your phase. You can choose your EQ, all your different stuff. And it goes through some different, I couldn't find out what these actually were, but I think that's your analog to digital converter, and then your digital to analog converter, and then your left and right levels. So you can kind of see as things are coming out, whether your levels are right. So you can adjust your balance accordingly to make sure that these numbers match. And then you roll back to your volume. And then again, the power button right here. And then so this is kind of your menu. This is kind of your enter button, if you will. But really cool unit. All right. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that review of the Parks Audio Puffin Phono Stage preamplifier. Very versatile. I will say that they do have an update that has came out for it that adds a lot more features and selections and adjustments and stuff to it. So the cool thing is they do come out with updates, firmware updates, so you can definitely keep this thing, evolving as you move. You can stay with where you're at. So all of that stuff is on their website on how to update that thing. I did not do that to this one because I don't own it. It's just on loan from Gig Harbor Audio. If I would own it, I would download and do the update, and it gives you a expanded menu of features. So if you want to know what those are, you can go over to their website, but definitely check them out. Parks Audio, Puffin, they've got a couple other products. Really cool. We had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the video. I'm James, your ABX audiophile. We'll see you on the next one.